Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 12 of the EAFC25 Rebuild Career Mode here with Sheffield Wednesday, and we jump straight into a potential signing for Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously we bought in Piotrowski from a free agent a couple of episodes ago, and we hinted to this one in the last episode. We were looking for a left back on a loan deal, and we are negotiating with Graham Potter and West Ham for Ollie Scholes, the 19-year-old left back, 68 rated currently. We did offer a 1-year deal. They came back with a short-term loan deal, which we did agree to. Obviously that will take him till the end of the season for us, so we'll obviously hopefully get that one through, and we'll see where that leads us in the coming or after this episode, should I say. But we go into this game with a much changed defence against QPR, a much changed team, to be honest. We've changed all four of the defenders. We've got Piotrowski right back, we've got Otugbio and Kai Drake, the youngster, in centre back, and we've got Liam Palmer in left back, and a couple of changes elsewhere as well. Hayward coming into the midfield. We have got Devin Long coming in the right wing as well, and Charlie McNeil starting up front for us. So we knew, especially away from home, this was not going to be an easy game. We know with the problems we've had with the changes in defence previously, especially when Bernard and Iorv have been out, and unfortunately just under 20 minutes into the game, QPR did take the lead through Chella, just running past our defence, finding himself in space with no one in front of him, fires it past Pierce Charles in goal to give QPR that 1-0 lead. So this game was all really going to be about staying in the game as long as possible, and obviously once we went 1-0 behind, it was all about not conceding anymore and trying to get one back ourselves. But it was QPR who were really on top of this game, and you can see here the sort of discontent in the defence. Players all over the place. Drake tried to run back to get that ball, but he couldn't quite catch the QPR attacker, and they did manage to put it away. Chella's second goal of the game, QPR's second goal of the game, and that is 2-0 to QPR at this stage, going into the second half, where we knew the way QPR were playing and the limited amount of chances we had in the first half, we knew it was going to be really difficult to get ourselves back in the game. We did get a few chances here. Charlie McNeil with a header there, but unfortunately got no power on it, no direction, and fell straight into the hands of Nardi, the QPR goalkeeper. But that was, to be fair, probably one of the best chances we got all game. And again, you can see here the defence, especially where we've changed it up, just is not playing well. Piotrowski tried to pull out. Unfortunately, he couldn't get to the defender. The ball came through to Michael Frey, who came on for QPR, but luckily he fired it wide of the post. And again, Saito, the winger for QPR, found himself in acres of space, but fortunately for us, he couldn't make most of the opportunity. Really weak shot on that left foot, and just straight down the middle, straight into the hands of Pierce Charles and our goal. So luckily the scores did stay at 2-0, and again, towards the end of the game, another good save from Pierce Charles there to keep the scores at 2-0 once more. But again, you can see from highlights, obviously, it's just QPR chance after chance, and we got absolutely nothing in this game. The final chance really fell for that header from the corner, and unfortunately Pierce Charles kept that one out, so it was 2-0 in the end, but a really poor defeat. But luckily we did have some good news coming off back of it. Ollie Scholes, a young left back, we mentioned at the start of the episode, he did come in to the team on that loan deal. The left back, as I say, 68 rated, coming in for 6 months, which will round out the end of the season, and he's not going to be in the first team. Obviously we have got Max Lowe as our starting left back, but we didn't really have any cover apart from Liam Palmer, who could fill in a left back but isn't really a left back by trade. So it was good just to get some depth in, and as I say, we're paying 50-50 wages with West Ham. We haven't had to pay a fee to bring him in on loan or anything like that, so he's just good cover, and obviously can play as the games start rolling in, and as we need obviously changes within the team, he can be that cover. He looks like a decent player, and then obviously in the future we can look to see whether he comes in permanently or not. But we do get two new young players coming into the youth academy. Jennings there, you could see 65 rated, up to 90 potential, really good player in central defence midfield. And then the other player was another centre midfielder. This time it is Nicholas Garner, 94 potential, so a bit higher potential, but not quite as good starting rating, only 59, but someone we could definitely grow, and hopefully he can be one for the future. Obviously we've got a fair few midfielders coming in that youth academy now. We've already promoted Hayward, we've got Thomas in there as well, so the youth academy is looking good, and obviously that will come to dividends in the future. But just looking at the table now, 29 games in, we are sitting pretty in 10th, sort of just above mid-table, which with the squad and obviously the players we've got, we'll definitely take at this stage. And we're only actually 6 points off playoffs, so a good run and a bad run for a couple of other teams, we could be up there. And then just looking at the squad, we're actually really lacking goals. You can see there the top scorer Jamal Lowe and Ingleson with 7, and then you have got Kadamateri on 6 as well. But we need to get some more goals and get some more regular goal scorers, similar to the assists. Nothing really to shout home about. But in terms of clean sheets, we mentioned him plenty of times throughout this series so far. Pierce Charles is absolutely smashing it in goal for us. You can see his rating's gone up to a 69, so a +5 from where he started. 8 clean sheets so far across all competitions. So, and as I say, we've mentioned him plenty of times, obviously, over the course of this series, and he is absolutely keeping us in games sometimes, and the clean sheets are proof of that. But as I said, the main goal really is going to be get the striker scoring, get some more goals in, and then hopefully we can climb up that table and possibly push into the playoffs. But it was going to be a difficult one, this game against Southampton. Although we were at home, Southampton were second in the league at this point, and obviously the players they've got are absolutely unbelievable. So, well, from a championship standpoint anyway, compared to our team. So we knew it was going to be a really difficult game. Ingleson actually got a really good chance there, that left foot earlier on. Unfortunately hit the outside of the post and went out for a goal kick. But if I'm being honest, the first half we were actually the team that were really on top. You can see here Valerie, the right back, coming through the central midfield, plays into Cadamaturi. I thought he was going to be offside, but luckily he wasn't. But unfortunately the keeper managed to close him down really quickly and make the save. But we got 0-0 into half time, but unfortunately just into second half, Cameron Archer, the Southampton striker, he wriggled past both of the defenders, Max Lowe and Dom Iorfa. I don't really know how he managed to get through both of them, to be fair, but he managed to get through both of them. Fires a shot. If I'm being honest, Pierce Charles probably should have done better there, but it was a good goal, so fair play to him. But we weren't going to go lying down. We got a chance there just a couple of minutes later. Unfortunately, the keeper did save it, and then just a couple of minutes later after that, Barry Bannon finds himself in space in the middle, but again, Aaron Ramsdale and the Southampton goal. It was a fairly weak shot, to be fair, from Barry Bannon, and Aaron Ramsdale could just easily claim that one. But again, we were the team on top. They got that goal straight from kickoff from half time, but they weren't really pressing us. Another good chance there, but again, Aaron Ramsdale having an absolute blinder. Obviously he's a better keeper than Championship standard, hence why in real life he's gone to Newcastle, but he's a much better keeper than Championship standard, and he was proving it in this game. But we did get another chance here. Chalobah plays the ball to Barry Bannon, he fires it in. Cadamaturi with a decent header there. Unfortunately Ramsdale saved it. Jamal Lowe with a follow up, but unfortunately again Aaron Ramsdale got down to his left hand side and managed to tip it around post for a corner. So we do make a change. Barry Bannon was on a yellow card. We brought in Austin Hayward, the youngster, and we spoke about it a couple of episodes ago with his quick feet. Really good feet there, a couple of step overs, beat the defender. Unfortunately he did actually decide to have that shot with his left foot rather than just try it on his right, and it was a weak shot, and again Ramsdale was there to save it. But a few more opportunities for us. Cadamaturi, decent shot there, saved by Ramsdale, no change there, and the game unfortunately did end 1-0. So although we were, I feel, the better team throughout and we had the more chances, unfortunately we couldn't take them. The goalkeeper was the hero in that game and the score did end 1-0. But some good news afterwards. Aikougbo back from injury, the 71 rated striker, our main striker. Cadamaturi's obviously been playing well whilst Aikougbo's been out, but it's really good to see him back. Unfortunately he wasn't quite fit enough to play any part in this game. He's still, although he's recovered, he's still obviously regaining match fitness and still getting back to 100%, so he's not going to be ready for the game against West Brom here or possibly a couple of games in the future. But Cadamaturi's been on decent form recently in recent games, so we're not too concerned. But obviously it's really good news to see Aikougbo back, and especially like we said before, we need goals and Aikougbo can provide those goals. But going into the final game of the episode, we do have West Brom away from home here, which again, similar to the Southampton game, we knew was going to be a really difficult one. Adam Armstrong was unfortunate with that shot. Good save by Pierce Charles once again. But West Brom came in here. The ball finds itself to Darnell Furlong. We tried to clear it. Unfortunately, we couldn't. Finds its way back to Semi Ajayi. Plays it into Armstrong. Decent shot on his left foot. But again, Pierce Charles, it was fairly down the centre for him, to be fair. So I think the save looked better than it probably needed to. But nonetheless, it was a really good save from Pierce Charles to keep the scores at 0-0. And then another one there from Adam Armstrong, getting down low, tipping that ball round the post to keep the scores at 0-0. Half an hour into the game though, the ball comes in for Furlong. Good shot from Adam Armstrong, really, really good defender from Jan Valery there, to be fair. He just threw himself at that ball, and luckily, it was, if he didn't get a touch on that, that would have gone in. So really good from Jan Valery. And then in the second half, we actually came out a little bit stronger. Cadamaturi with a good chance there after that ball across by Jamal Lowe. Unfortunately, their defender did similar to what Jan Valery did and just gets in front of the player and hits out for a corner. And then from the follow-up, Bernard with the header, unfortunately, down the middle, tips over by the West Brom goalkeeper to keep the scores at 0-0. But just a couple of minutes later, we get a corner on the other side this time. Barry Bannon looking for the outswinging cross, decides to play it short. Ball comes back to Barry Bannon, he fires it in. Bernard with a header, unfortunate with that one. Finds its way to Cadamaturi and goes out to Ingleson, who lets the ball run out for a throw-in. And we do make a change at this stage, and it's the new boy, Ollie Scholes, coming on for Max Lowe in left back against West Brom away from home for his debut for Sheffield Wednesday, and hopefully we can do something. But unfortunately the game didn't really warrant that. Nothing happened, and the game ended 0-0. So really, really poor game to be fair, but it was good to see Ollie Skiles obviously getting his debut and a couple of messages from players there. But that is going to bring the game to the end of the episode, and you will see just before we break out here, there is some news articles about us. Luckily nothing from the club as of yet, but obviously one to keep an eye on. But as always, please drop a like, please subscribe to the channel to follow the journey, drop any comments or suggestions down below. Have a good rest of your weekend and take care of yourselves. Goodbye.